Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18, entitled Residents of Jambudvip Offer Prayers, text number 28. Bhavan Yugantar Nava Urmi Malini Bhavan Yugantar Nava Urmi Malini Kshonim Imam Oshadhi Virudham Nidhim Kshonim Imam Oshadhi Virudham Nidhim Maya Sahoru Kramateja Ojasa Maya Sahoru Kramateja Ojasa Tasmai Jagat Prana Ganatmane Namati Tasmai Jagat Prana Ganatmane Nama Iti Bhavan Yugantar Nava Urmi Malini Shoni Mimam Oshadi Virudham Nidhin Shoni Kamate Jaojasa Tasmai Jagat Prana Ganatmane Namaiti. Translation. O Almighty Lord, at the end of the millennium, this planet Earth, which is the source of all kinds of herbs, drugs, and trees, was inundated by water and drowned beneath the devastating waves. At that time you protected me along with the earth and roamed the sea with great speed. O unborn one, you are actually the maintainer of the entire universal creation, and therefore you are the cause of all living entities. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Okay. Purport. Envious persons cannot appreciate how wonderfully the Lord creates, maintains, and annihilates the universe. But devotees of the Lord can understand this perfectly well. Devotees can see how the Lord is acting behind the wonderful workings of the material nature. In Bhagavad Gita 9.10, the Lord says, Mayadyakshrena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kunteya jagad viparivartate. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. All the wonderful transformations of nature are happening under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Envious persons cannot see this, but a devotee, even though very humble and even if uneducated, knows that behind all the activities of nature is the supreme hand of the Supreme Being. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharini Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is a continuation of the prayers of Vaivasvata Manu to Lord Matsya. This kind of is just a following from the previous verse. Even the purport is following the same line of thought. Jai Shri Shri Gauranitai ki Jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki Jai. The purport also follows the same line of thought, it's just much smaller. So I'll do my best. The central theme here is understanding or recognizing first, and then understanding that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate maintainer, the ultimate master of everything, and the annihilator. That's how the purport begins, describing how the Lord creates, maintains, and annihilates. All three of these functions he executes by his will, without any extra endeavor. Just by his breathing, exhaling, he creates billions and billions of universes, what to speak of planets and solar systems, etc., etc. And by inhaling, he can destroy everything. And even the maintenance, everything is happening simply by his willing it. When we see in our modern day how the managers are in so much anxiety, because it is a very difficult thing. We are limited in our human form of life. We have limited capacity, limited intelligence, limited energy, limited strength, limited everything. Therefore, to manage everything is not so easy. Just like in some big corporate, the in charges they're always in anxiety. Anxiety about money, anxiety about employees, anxiety about so many different things. But the Lord is not like that. He maintains universes. He maintains all the unlimited jivas without even so much as breaking a sweat. This is the fantastic nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then, to destroy it all is also nothing for him. When we see here, I don't know how much it happens in Zurich, but for example, if you go to New York City, everywhere you go there is scaffolding. You know scaffolding? You understand? It means like when they try to work on some building, try to repair some building, they put these metal things everywhere to hold it together. So everywhere you go, you see these things. Or when they're trying to fix the road, they'll crack the road open and create so much inconvenience for traffic until they've completed it. So in so many ways, they create inconvenience in order to maintain. It is a very difficult thing. But everything that the Lord is maintaining is simply by his willing it to be so. And what he also maintains is the function of the material world. The whole entire material energy is functioning by the will of the Lord. And within the material world, you have so many planets, and in those planets, so many countries and people who think that they are the center of their own world. We are like little, puppets who, at least to the degree that we are not engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord, we tend to be puppets of the material energy. So when we look out at the world around us, we can see everything is functioning according to the influence of the three modes of material nature. Just like as one verse says, that the whole world, material world, is functioning by the desire of the conditioned soul to enjoy. So it is like a hamster that runs on the wheel, and his desire to continue running is what continues spinning the wheel. So we feel, the conditioned soul feels that they are in control. We are having whatever power or influence or whatever it is that entertains us. But from the Lord's perspective, we're just like that hamster is running like this. So it feels very grand. It feels very important. It feels very interesting. Just like now on, I don't know how much you're on social media. It's very popular for people to speak about what is going on in their life, because they feel it's very important. Everyone should know what I'm doing every day in my life. Today I'm brushing my teeth, I'm going to the store, whatever. Like this, we feel we are very important. So this is due to the influence of the material modes of nature, due to the material mind and senses, the ahankar, the false ego. Srila Prabhupada starts this purport by saying, envious persons cannot appreciate how wonderfully the Lord creates, maintains, and annihilates the universe. That is the age-old enemy of the conditioned soul, that we are covered by the ahankar, the false ego, which conditions us to desire enjoyment separated from the Lord. We want to enjoy without God. Therefore, we become envious. Because Krishna can enjoy unlimitedly with no repercussions. That is his right. He is Rasaraj. He is so many names that describe this quality of him, that he gets to enjoy everything. Whereas our enjoyment ultimately comes from pleasing him. So, if we are not, you can say, aligned with the Supreme Lord in that way, then we can become envious. Just like in the previous purport, it gives a good example of Lord Indra, who became envious that Krishna was being worshipped instead of him, or Giriraj being worshipped instead of him. And we can see this in the demoniac nature of the demons who wanted to kill Krishna. This is due to envy. So it's a very interesting thing to reflect on. Feeling envious of God. It's something I also reflected on. It wasn't something that came naturally, that I would think, oh, I can be envious of God. I'm a devotee, I'm a Hare Krishna, I've been around for so long, I've been chanting for so long, like, how can I be envious? But when I look more deeply, I can see in some ways how that manifests. Very confronting. Wow, I can be envious of God. The desire to enjoy, separate from Krishna, to desire to be in control, this is a manifestation of envy, because Krishna is the only one who is in control. So real happiness, because the envious person, they're not happy. Envious people is always looking at somebody else. Oh, I wish I had that. Why Krishna has to be so beautiful? Why does Krishna get all of the attention, etc., like this? So actually an envious person is not satisfied. They feel they need more and more and more. Then they'll be happy. Therefore we continue to take birth after birth after birth. Because we think, if I can just have this, then I will be happy. And then we get it. And then we realize that we're still not happy. And we think, well, if I can just have what this person has, because they look like they're happy. So if I can have that, then I'll be happy. And so like this, compelled by a desire, we continue, like the hamster. So, but the devotee, what is the nature of the Vaishnava? Or anyone who has a favorable attitude towards the Lord. What is the counterpart? How do we counteract envy? Once I heard someone ask in a class, how do we get over this envy? Envy is such an unpleasant experience, especially among devotees. We always want to love devotees, and sometimes we feel envy. It doesn't feel good. What do we do? So the answer came, we should try to appreciate. Anytime we feel envious of someone, we should first, what can I appreciate about them? So that is a natural quality in a Vaishnava. The Vaishnava is naturally always appreciating the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can see in these prayers that they're just exulting in the qualities of the Supreme Lord. You are the benefactor of everyone. You are the protector of everyone. You are the maintainer. You are the origin of everything. Like this, there are so many prayers like this across the Bhagavatam, hundreds and hundreds probably. Right? The leaders of the universe are envious of you. Like this, we give so much appreciation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this way, we can purify that material conditioning in the heart. So the devotee, he is always meditating on the qualities of the Supreme Lord and the nature of his qualities in the way that they manifest, whether it's in the spiritual world or how they manifest in the material world, how they manifest through each individual jiva. It is like a meditation. So he says here in the purport, devotees can see how the Lord is acting behind the wonderful workings of the material nature. So even in the Maya that is appearing to us in the material world, the devotee can appreciate Krishna even in that. He can see how amazing it is, how comprehensive is the Lord's material energy, how powerful is the Lord's Maya. It is all material nature is working under your direction. Like this. Krishna says, time I am, destroyer of worlds. What an amazing quality. That Krishna, in the form of time, is all-encompassing death. And yet also, he is the creation of it. He creates everything. He can completely annihilate, or he can create the most wonderful thing. So, everything that we observe around us, there is also the opportunity to recognize Krishna's grandeur and quality. Just like, what is that analogy? When you look at a painting, you think of the artist, right? So when we look and observe the material energy around us, if we have that consciousness, we think of Krishna. We appreciate, wow, Krishna has created such a wonderful thing, or such a terrible thing. Krishna can also do that. So, in this way, if we adjust our consciousness, then our experience of the material energy begins to transform. In the sense that, what is that? Mahatmanastimam partha daivim prakritim ashtara. The Mahatma is always under the shelter of the internal energy. So to the degree we are Krishna conscious, To that degree, we become sheltered by the Lord. When we see the material energy simply as, either objects of our sense gratification, or like, the jnani, they simply see this world is, misery, etc., etc. They don't see the Supreme Lord. So therefore, they're also incomplete in their understanding, and therefore they also have to suffer. Just like someone who is paranoid, they never feel peace. They're always in anxiety. So we can recognize the material nature for what it is. We can recognize padam padam yadvi padam nitesham. This place is so dangerous, danger at every step. But if we don't see Krishna in that, then we're just stuck in like, this place is so horrible, but I don't know what to do about it. I can't do anything. Therefore, I'm just miserable. Therefore, we must add Krishna. That completes the circle of understanding. And if we can recognize and see Krishna in everything, then we will feel more, you can say, peaceful in the heart. Of course, we still understand the material energy is very dangerous. Not that we become comfortable, but that we recognize that Krishna, please protect me. Just like Srila Prabhupada, he said, every day I pray to be protected from Maya. So that's Krishna consciousness. We recognize. Krishna himself says, Mama Maya Jaratyaya, this material energy is very difficult to overcome. Not possible without me. Not possible. This is my energy. So if you want to overcome, you need me. Right? So just like if you want to come in from the front door, or the door with the number lock, you need the number code. Otherwise, you can't get inside. So we want access to the protection from the material energy, just like we come inside to become protected from the cold weather. Then we need Krishna. Otherwise, we will freeze. So, the daily endeavor for the devotee is to remember Krishna, to never forget him, to constantly try to take shelter of Krishna, to constantly meditate on Krishna's presence everywhere. Just like when we when we see other people as objects of our sense gratification, and when we see Krishna in the hearts of everyone, that's two different, very different experiences, right? Totally different experience. It is like living in a totally different reality. We have a different experience. So we try to cultivate this attitude of appreciating Krishna in everything and in everyone. The consciousness is what is important. That is what is being described here as far as the duality of the difference between an envious person and a devotee. It says here, even if one is uneducated, so it is about consciousness, not necessarily about some material qualification. Even an envious person can have many material qualifications. Lord Indra, who's Lord Indra? He's the king of heaven. What lacking of qualification does he have? But he still became envious. Therefore, it's a question of the heart or a question of the consciousness. So these two ways of seeing the Lord are described here. Either we see from envy, if we are too conditioned in the heart and the mind, or we see from the devotion. Just like, because what is Krishna interested in? Krishna is interested in the love that we have to offer him in any capacity. When Krishna, there's a pastime when Duryodhana, and he wants to invite Krishna to take lunch with him. Because he's so envious. He does not see Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead, or even someone appreciable. He's very calculating. So Krishna does not feel so interested. Even though he's a king, what palatable food is not available to him? We can only imagine how powerful, how wealthy, how opulent that he lived. But Krishna wasn't interested. But when he was invited by Vidura, who was the son of a maidservant, Krishna was so attracted, so interested, because of the devotion. This we know, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, like this. So, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as he is a person, has also his own nature that is described also in the Bhagavatam. What he is attracted by, what interests him. And so these personalities, they try to give pleasure to the Lord by glorifying him. Just like whenever the demigods are requiring the assistance of the Lord, whether it's from the demons, usually it's from the demons who have become especially powerful, just like in the pastime of Bali Maharaj. He became so powerful they completely devastated the demigods and took over the heavenly planets. And therefore they had to approach the Supreme Lord. But they always begin with prayers. So many things that they glorify in the Supreme Lord. So in this way we can also find so many things to appreciate about Krishna. And then when we offer that devotional attitude, then Krishna becomes pleased. And if Krishna is pleased, then everything comes. We are protected. We're protected from the fearful material energy, which is so powerful that keeps even the most staunch yogi or whatever, they can be completely bewildered. So, but it's not only that, not just that we are protected from the material energy, but then what is on the other side? That he also gives us the opportunity to enter into a relationship with him. That is bhakti, developing a relationship, a loving relationship with the Lord. He gives everything. That is his wonderful nature. There's a really nice purport in the 8th canto, chapter 3. Let me double check. Anyway, I don't think I'll have it bookmarked here, but I think it's chapter 3. Anyway, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada describes how Krishna never gives up on the devotee. He never gives up on, what to speak of the devotee, he never gives up on any jiva. He's always working to bring the conditioned soul closer to him. Even the conditioned soul rejects his instruction, rejects his, but he doesn't become discouraged. He never gives up on us. That is such a wonderful quality in Krishna. All of us are looking for unconditional love, one way or another, because that is in our nature as a jiva, as a pure soul. That is in our nature. So we're always looking for love in this world. Simply that we have looked in the wrong places. But the desire itself is not wrong. That is inherent to the quality of Ananda. We are always searching for happiness. Krishna is the ultimate receiver of that, or you can say the ultimate resting place of that, because he will never reject us. So like this, we can see, and then also, even the existence of the trials and tribulations in this world themselves also pull us towards God consciousness. After becoming frustrated of trying to enjoy in the world, finally we become disillusioned. That is also Krishna's mercy. What is that? After millions and millions of births, one comes to know the Lord. And even amongst that is rare. So Krishna's special mercy comes in so many different forms. And of course, we know that it is even especially more special in this Kali Yuga, due to the Lord's appearance in his form as Lord Chaitanya. That he's given us not just opportunity for liberation, because there are many types of liberation, and not all are necessarily desirable, given context. So he comes and freely distributes due to his overflowing compassion and merciful nature, that he distributes the most unimaginable and incredible gift that has not been given before. What is that? Anarpita Chirim Chira. He's come to give what has not been given before. Why? For what purpose? Which of us deserves that? That is his name. That is his audarya, magnanimity. That it doesn't matter. Our qualification is that we don't have any qualification. He's simply giving. Lord Nityananda Prabhu is simply giving, without any discrimination. It's like a tidal wave. We can't even hold it all. We just drown. Jai Shishi Jai. Gornitai ki Jai, Shishi Jagan Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki Jai. So in so many ways, he gives us opportunity to serve him, to eat his prasad, to chant his names, to hear his pastimes, to hear his glories. That is what we're doing in Srimad Bhagavatam. Whether speaking or hearing, we're simply just trying to glorify and appreciate the qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is what we are doing. To associate with like-minded people who are also interested in Krishna consciousness. What a blessing that is. In the material world, where a majority of people are not interested in God. So, in this way, the more that we meditate, there's so much to think about, so much to reflect on, so much to appreciate. Therefore, we see for the advanced devotee, they're constantly absorbed. They never forget. They're always thinking of Krishna in some form or another. Yenatena prakarin mana Krishna nivesha. Somehow or other, one way or another, think of Krishna. How? Well, we can appreciate so many things about him. We can remember so many pastimes. We can understand the nature of creation, manifestation, and annihilation, as is executed by the Lord's wonderful arrangements. So, starting from the analysis or understanding of the material energy, all the way up to appreciating the personal activities of the Lord. Such a vast spectrum. And all along that, there is so much that we can appreciate about the Lord, meditate on His qualities and His associates, His servants, like this. And in this way, it is possible. It is possible that we can be always thinking of Krishna. And in that constant absorption of thinking of Krishna, then we are no longer in the material world as such. We will be in the spiritual world, because that is a consciousness of the spiritual world, that they are always thinking of Krishna. So even while we are still embodied, we can be in the spiritual world in consciousness. That we are always absorbed in the qualities, pastimes, the form, like this, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just in the Bhagavatam, how many forms of the Lord are described? So how many incarnations He takes, and so many different colors, shapes, and sizes like this. He manifests all of these different forms simply to attract our attention. He makes it possible that people from all different types of consciousness and backgrounds or whatever can become attracted. And even amongst one particular form can be manifested in many different ways, right? Just like if you go to India, you don't even need to go to India, just speak here. If you go to different temples, they have different Gaurnitai deity who looks slightly different, and someone feels attracted this form or this form. So Krishna is very clever in that way, that he makes himself attractive to everyone. That's the meaning of Krishna, all attractive. That is his quality. And so, by exhibiting all his different forms and qualities and pastimes, he makes himself undeniably attractive. Just like there's a nice story or pastime of a thief who he happened to pass by a like a Bhagavad Gita, and the speaker was describing Krishna. Of course, the thief doesn't know who's Krishna, but he's hearing that this Krishna, he wears all sorts of jewelry, necklaces, gold, all sorts of expensive things. And so the thief is thinking, wow, this is a big score. Of course, you can imagine, such a low conscience, he wants to steal from a child. But this is his thinking. Oh, Krishna. Whoever this Krishna is, he's got a lot of money. And if I can just get just a couple of jewels from him, I'm set for life. So he's thinking, okay, where is Krishna? How do I find Krishna? Trying to just find out, where's Krishna? And just by that, he started to become absorbed. He was always thinking, okay, how would I steal jewels from Krishna? Now, do I try to catch him by himself somewhere? So because of the power of that meditation, inconceivable mercy of the Lord, that Krishna appeared to him as a little boy. He sees Krishna with all his jewelry. So he says, hey, you have a lot of nice jewelry. You have so much jewelry. I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember exactly how it was told. But essentially, he's saying, why don't you give me something? You have so many. You're rich. I know your family's rich. Probably you have so many jewels. Maybe just give me one jewel. Krishna says, no. I'm sorry. If I give you, every day my mother's dressing me so attentively, she'll know and she'll chastise me. If she sees something missing, my mother will become upset with me. So he's trying to barter with a child, trying to convince his child, and he's thinking, should I just grab it, But in the course of that, he became so charmed by Krishna. Krishna is so, you can imagine Krishna, just a young, beautiful boy, how he speaks, everything about Krishna is so attractive. Probably even his smell probably is, so intoxicating for this, thief. Just by having that interaction, he became so enamored. He completely forgot about his desire to steal from Krishna. So Krishna is like this, so clever, that he completely dominates our consciousness by his qualities. So, in that way, he is calling all souls to him through all of the various ways that he makes himself available. And so that is his mercy. And so through these prayers, we get to appreciate all of the qualities of the Lord. And we increase our thinking of him. And in that way we become not just purified, but also more and more absorbed. That is our greatest fortune. So I will stop there. If there's any corrections or questions or comments. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you so much for the lecture. I was wondering, how can we please Krishna without trying to be in control? Because you were giving the example with the manager that they are always anxious because they have to control. So what should we do in that kind of situation?
That's a good question. How do we please Krishna without trying to be in control? Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we want to please Krishna in the way that we want to please Krishna. Of course, there's something in that, but I mean, if you're saying from a perspective of a manager who's, quite literally, it's part of your service, to have some, control, at least in an executive way. There are many different demigods who are responsible for so many different things. The wind, the air, not air, water, fire, everything. They have so much responsibility. But they are conscious that they are servants of the Supreme Lord. There are exceptions to that as far as when we hear examples of Lord Indra. But generally speaking, we understand that they are always understanding that they are servants engaged by the Lord. They are empowered by the Lord. The capacity, Krishna says, that the capacity of the demigods to give benedictions is given by him. He gives that power. So the first thing that comes to mind is simply that we can meditate on that whatever our service is, we are doing on behalf of the Lord, or you can say for the pleasure of the Lord. Whatever we do, we try to do in order to offer some service. And then, whatever is the result of that, we try to be detached. Control, what is the negative of control, is that we become unhappy if it doesn't go the way we want. That is what makes us feel frustrated, right? But if we can become detached from the the personal investment that I want this to go how I want it to be. Yeah. It's a subtle difference, like if I arrange something or if I try to organize something, and I'm invested, like in my ego, I'm invested that this should go successfully so that I feel I'm a good manager or I'm a good organizer or whatever. So in that way, if it doesn't happen, then I become disturbed. I become, frustrated or unsatisfied. But if I'm detached from the results of whatever it is that I'm doing, then that, means that I'm not thinking that this, whatever I'm doing as far as, executing some duty, that I'm not thinking that this, affirms my power or my cleverness or my intelligence or whatever. Does that make sense? It's it's a subtle thing, because I've had a few, not so much, but some few experiences where I had to do some managerial. And I always noticed that when I would become really frustrated is when I felt that I need this to work or go the way I want because it will make me feel good about myself. I think, I'm a good manager. I'm very intelligent. Or I'm respected. Or I'm like this. So we try to be very careful that when we are executing something, we're simply doing it as a service and not that we need it to validate ourselves. Does that make sense? So, because to the degree that we are invested in our ego, to that degree means that our vision becomes blurred, right? We start to become frustrated with people more easily, or become envious of people more easily, right? Just like sometimes it happens, that let's say, for example, I'm in charge of something, and I see that somebody's more expert at some particular thing than me. Now, I can say, you should do this service because you are expert, you are better. But if I'm invested in my ego, I feel I need to do this because it makes me feel better about myself. Then instead of offering appreciation, opportunity for someone to be engaged, instead I feel envious. Actually, I don't want you to do this service because I feel jealous that you're better than me. So, if we can remove our ego, right? We want to be in control. If we want to be in control, it means that we need something for us, not for Krishna. We need something for me, something for Krishna, but also for me, right? We try to make some adjustment, 2 for Krishna, 1 for me, right? So if we can try to remove that, then we'll feel more like a little lighter. And so when we execute our duties, we are not so personally, disturbed. That can happen very easily. It's not such an easy thing, but that's what comes to mind. If we're speaking specifically about, those kind of services. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Yeah, sure. Mm.
But out of guilt. He didn't want to fight, but he fight because as a leader, you have to create like order, guideline, this. But the most important aspect that you have to remember. So the results and what happens is not under my control.
Mm.
I do this out of duty.
Mm.
And yes, sometimes also need to be rushed. Sometimes also you need to create like boundaries and all this stuff. Sometimes also you have to go against your own family or even the community, if this is the right stuff.
Mm.
But the point is to remember, so I'm here in this moment as servant, my position. It's like the new name that you say like servant leadership.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's also in the leadership now a lot of this trend.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Kehampa Surprise. That we are servant of Krishna, we got to this position, we need to do some things and some responsibilities. We do our best and Krishna provides.
Mm. Yes. Thank you. Mm. Anything else? Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you for the lecture.
Thank you.
And